We just saw how social media weaponizes reinforcement. Video games are arguably the most sophisticated application of learning principles ever built. And that's a double-edged statement, because the same design that makes games powerful learning environments can also make them compulsive. Let's start with what games get right. A well-designed game is a masterclass in operant conditioning. It gives clear goals, immediate feedback, and a perfectly tuned schedule of rewards that keeps challenge and skill in balance. It uses shaping, starting easy, and reinforcing successive approximations as skills build, so players are always learning at the edge of their ability. In fact, games solve the motivation problem that classrooms struggle with. They make people willingly practice difficult skills for hours. There's genuine insight there for educators about how reinforcement and well-timed feedback drive engagement and learning. But the same mechanisms have a darker application: the unpredictable rewards that make games engaging. Rare item drops, surprise bonuses, run on variable ratio schedules, the most compulsion-producing schedule there is. For most players, this is harmless fun, but for a vulnerable minority, it can tip into compulsive use that genuinely impairs their social, academic, or work life, which is why gaming disorder is now recognized as a condition worth studying, and in serious cases treating. The most pointed example is the loot box. Paying real money for a random in-game reward, not knowing what you'll get. Structurally, that is a slot machine. A fixed cost, an uncertain payoff, a variable ratio thrill. Critics argue these mechanics expose young players to gambling-like psychology, and several governments have moved to regulate them for exactly that reason. The through line of this whole chapter is the analytic habit. When you see a system that's unusually hard to put down, a game, an app, a feed, ask the diagnostic questions. What schedule of reinforcement is operating here? What cues have been conditioned? What's the reward, and how unpredictable is it? Almost always, you'll find variable ratio, reinforcement, and conditioned cues doing the work. Seeing the machinery doesn't make you immune, but it shifts you from passenger to analyst. And that shift is the foundation of taking back control. Of course, learning principles aren't only used to capture attention for profit. The very same science is used deliberately and ethically to relieve suffering and change lives. That's the clinical application of learning, and it's where we turn next.